Hello, everyone. Welcome to the contributors meeting. I'm going to be your host today. I'm Leo, and starting off with triage and discussion as usual. So we had Peter and Michael to be dealing with this activity. So Peter or Michael, do you have any outstanding issue you wanted to make available to us today?
Yeah, so I added these two issues. They're both proposals for enhancements.
Okay, so you want me to open them in a separate
Sure.
tab?
Yep.
Is it? No, I don't think it is. So let me start with this. Okay,
Yeah. So a user opened this issue. Basically, their problem is they have multiple application sets and want to control the order in which the applications are deleted, and they're proposing to have source hydrator support for application set. I'm not sure if this is um, the best way or if there's an alternative. And they have a proposal here.
so the main issue the user is complaining is about deletion order, because I remember discussing this, different deletion order improvements in the past.
Yeah, the main issue is the deletion order. It says application sets don't support DAG-based application destroy ordering across multiple application set.
Couldn't
It's
they deploy their app sets from an app of app sets using sync waves?
I think that's what they're doing, but there's in the workaround section, but they're saying this adds an extra layer, which they think it's better if we remove that layer.
Can they, so are they using progressive syncs within the app set?
Not sure.
Because if I'm curious whether having multiple application sets is a hard requirement. If they could put all of their apps in a single application set and just group them and use progressive syncs to deploy the groups, they could also delete in reverse order using the new app set feature.
I see.
I
Yeah,
think
I
having
think
an
that
app
would be
set
better. Yeah.
having an app set produce manifests to Git is an interesting idea, but then using those manifests to deploy using a separate app is weird.
Yeah,
Like,
we have some messages in the chat. So Kanika worked on a feature. She's saying she's going to reply in the ticket.
Okay. Great.
Um, okay, so maybe we can move on. The next one, add optional text note to autosync disable and enable. So want to present this one as well, Peter?
Yeah, so this one is they have a large team. They want to add a note in the UI um to give a reason why they're disabling. And someone commented below with a proposal on how to do it, basically adding an annotation. Um, and there's a couple other ways we could extend it, like or modify it to add who disabled autosync and so on.
It will be great to have some visuals as part of the proposal so we understand where exactly they're willing to have this new text.
Right. But for the general idea, do you think it's good?
Like to see a simple dialog box presented when it is disabled. A simple dialog box.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah, go
suggest
ahead.
I would suggest they write a UI extension that presents an alternative button to enable and disable autosync, and that also attaches an annotation or an info item to the app spec when they do it. I don't think we should build a first class like because you could do this for every single write operation in the UI is have an additional prompt to have the user justify their decision.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, I can let them know. Having a separate UI extension would be good.
Hey, thank you, Peter. Anything else from triage and sport last week? Okay, so now we need to select two people to do triage for next week. Any volunteers in the call?
I can go for primary.
Okay, thank you, Nitish.
I'm happy to do secondary.
Okay, Ryan, thank you. Right, and let's jump to the next section, which is the discussion panel. So we have Hari. Are you in the call?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Should I share my screen or? Oh,
I can click the link and have it here as you prefer.
okay. Okay. You can open it.
Okay.
Okay. Just give a background. So this is related to Argo rollouts. So in our organization, we use Argo rollouts for canary deployments for the deployment object, but we also have some applications which use stateful sets. And the way it is currently, Argo rollouts only supports deployment objects. So we were checking if we could contribute to the development of stateful set support for Argo rollouts. So a couple of months back, I had a discussion with Zach Aller. So we had a back and forth discussion, and the suggestion was to create a PR with a proposal detailing how we can go about to implement it. So the idea was to create a generic implementation either through a plugin or through a new controller, wherein the code on Argo rollouts would be generic for a good amount of Kubernetes objects, and anyone who wants to implement it specifically for a particular Kubernetes object like stateful set or daemon set can actually write their own plugin code and use it as part of Argo rollouts. So I had created this proposal with detailing on how we would like to do it. So the idea was what I got from Zach was to give some outline of the interfaces on in Golang how it would look like, and also to specifically mention when it comes to stateful set, since our main aim was to implement it for stateful set, how we would implement canary and blue green strategy. So I mentioned that as well. So the idea is to basically use the partition field in stateful set to do the canary deployment, and also to have two different stateful sets and use basically some form of load network or load balancing to handle blue green deployment. So I had created this proposal a month back, and I know Zach was on vacation for some time, but since then I've still not been able to get in touch to get this PR reviewed. So I thought I would join this meeting to get this PR highlighted and get some form of review on this proposal.
All right, thanks for presenting it to us. One question I have, I mean, the initial question, not reading the proposal,
Mm-hmm.
is you mentioned about the stateful set,
Mm-hmm.
but for deployment, we had to create a new resource type to replace it. But I'm not sure if I'm understanding your strategy here. So you're basically saying we're gonna keep using stateful set and make it work with Argo rollouts, or the idea here is creating a new resource type that would mimic how stateful set works.
No, we would be using stateful set as it is and
Okay,
extending the functionality on Argo rollout side to handle stateful set. We are not gonna
to handle this.
redo in or re-implement any logic that is already available for stateful sets in Kubernetes.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting. It's a big proposal for sure. So we would need to take a good look. I'm not sure if Zach is in the call. I don't see him. But I can bring this internally to him, and
Okay.
not sure if anybody else in the call has anything to say about the proposal. It looks very interesting, and having support for stateful set is something we discussed in the past as well. Okay, thank you, Adi. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Adi?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go with the next one, Nitish.
Hi. So this is actually not an issue, but I just want to get some suggestions from folks here. So last week, I was reviewing some CLI PRs that are only scoped to the CLI. And I realized a lot of CLI PRs were raised from a longer period of time that were currently being opened and were not worked on by contributors. And if we look at the code base, it was a pretty simple fix for which the PRs were raised. But since those PRs were like not being worked upon by the contributors anymore, those were left abandoned. So I just want to know some thoughts or maybe put some thoughts as like, should we target some of those PRs that have been open for a long period of time and raise a fix for that issue than waiting for the author's response? The thing is, we can give them a credit always in the new PR that we're going to raise. Uh, and the reason I'm asking is to raise that PR again, and not willing to wait for author's response again and again, is because PRs like these have been open for more than a year sometimes without any update, and waiting for a response would be unnecessarily keeping those PRs open that could have been fixed. For example, like the PR that I linked, it was just like a simple fix, but I think the author wasn't able to work on this PR for due to certain reasons. So just want to know if we should should we target these some of these PRs or not? I just came across some of the PRs that were just touching the CLI, but I'm pretty sure there will be a bunch of PRs that will be touching the other parts of the project. And those might be very simple if we can work on it together.
Okay, so my first say on this is I think it's on case by case basis. So I think if you understand that a given PR is open for a while and it makes sense to have it merged, then obviously we can revive it, maybe ping the contributor or contribute on the same PR, pushing the missing commits there, addressing the issues. I don't know if someone else has a different opinion, but that's my first take on that.
I'm not sure if everyone is going to have. So I see the Alex G's comment on that. We can raise the push on the original PR, but I'm not sure if, let's say, a new contributor wants to pick up and he's going to have the push access to someone else PR or not. So
That's a fair statement, and I agree with that. I would say send a message, see if they reply in 1 day, 2 days. If not, we can push comments on top of their PR. I think we can do that.
okay.
And so we keep the history, the
Mhm.
history with their contribution, and we unblock the PR. So that would be my first suggestion on how to address this problem.
Okay, got it. Mhm.
Anybody else has a different opinion or similar one? Okay. Thank you, Nitish. Moving on, Jansi.
Hello.
Hi. Um,
Um,
okay. So is this the right
yes.
request you want to discuss? Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Small overview about it. Like, there was this open issue about AAD domain hint that can be incorporated for the Argo CD. This was actually already worked upon. A PR was merged, but it was merged in V 2.12.4 version of Argo CD. But we currently are on 3.0.6. And we have configured the domain hint in our config maps and tried to test it out, but it didn't work, unfortunately. So this issue was already talked upon that it's not working. So we took it up and tried to contribute.
Can you please clarify what you said about having this already merged in a newer version of Argo CD, but not in the one you're using? Not sure I understand that part.
What I meant to say is, like, there was some other contributor who already worked on the domain hint configuration of Argo CD.
Okay.
Like, his PR was already merged, but then like, to give you the specific on which version the PR was merged in, it's v2.14.2 12.4 of Argo CD. But then currently in our organization we are running on v3.0.6, right?
Mhm.
So when we tested out the domain hint configuration that was already merged, uh, doesn't seem to work. So
Okay.
that's, I just highlighted about that.
I see. So this PR is a complement, is a fix on top of that PR that was already merged. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. It's not a big PR. So the old PR wasn't sending the hint as the API
Oh,
request at all
in the OIDC config. um,
in the OIDC config.
yes.
Yeah, it looks like a small PR and easy to review. We can take a look.
Probably just missing a unit test
Yeah.
and good to go.
Okay. Sorry, unit test.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a doc as well, a documentation.
Sure.
So whoever is using this type of authentication, it's what is written in the main. I read the main issue. It's clear what the problem is.
Okay.
But as I don't see any documentation updated in the PR, maybe it would be good to have that level
Okay.
of yeah, description there as well.
Sure.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the contribution.
Thank you.
All right, and we have Reggie. You want
Hi,
to
everyone.
decrypt this for us, Reggie? What is?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're experiencing on some of our environments the following error at the repo server. And so what happens is that Git headlog file is left somewhere during the one of the execution passes of the repo server. And because this log file is left, basically no checkouts can occur until either this log file is removed manually from within the container or just the pod is restarted. And I have invested a significant amount of time into checking this error. It is not easily reproducible. We have a couple of environments where it reproduces. I could not reproduce it locally. And it's intermittent. Like stuff can run for a day, and then after one day we suddenly get this, or sometimes after a couple of hours. And at first I thought that this was a problem of concurrency, that maybe some Git operations and the repo server are happening concurrently, and this is why this is the issue with the lock. But I set the repo server parallelism limit to 1 to basically make it serial on the repo server. And even after doing that, I still see this error. And I see messages maybe that are related to this.
Yeah, there's a message saying that maybe this is related, but please continue, Reggie.
Yeah, and so one of the messages is a pull request that Blake was working on. And this problem in this pull request basically after in another case. I was not able to reproduce that. We do not experience this problem after after the repo server container restarts. But it is a different problem. And basically, I wanted to hear ideas first, maybe on how to reproduce or investigate this problem further. And second, as a workaround, I can think about just deleting this file after the exec command finishes, whether it finishes after timeout or after fatal timeout or just finishes normally, and whether that would be a safe approach.
I'm not sure about deleting the file. It seems that there's another process already owning that file, and that process should be the one dealing with that. So, but what is the behavior that you're seeing? What is the error that you're seeing in your case?
This is the error that I've pasted.
It shows up in Argo City UI,
Yeah, it
this
shows in
error?
Argo UI and on repo server logs. It
Okay.
basically just blocks additional Git checkouts because the file is there, and then Git cannot perform additional checkouts because it is allegedly locked.
Did you do a PS or anything to see like if there is a Git process running still?
So currently I'm adding additional logging for this to see what other Git processes are running at the moment.
I wonder if something's just getting stuck, like a Git process is literally just like I'm sure Git might spawn a few child processes or something, and if one of them gets stuck and it's just like not cleaning up after itself. Like if I don't know if you have access to it, but if you do like a PS while this is happening, I wonder if you can see anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm currently adding another logging statements exactly for this to see the processes. Also, another thing that I thought about is that in the CMP plugin, we're starting the external processes in a process group. And so one of my thoughts was maybe exactly this, maybe that there is a child process of this Git process is who holds the lock. And when we terminate the parent process, the child maybe is still running in the background and holding this lock. So I am now also trying to start the processes as a process group, hoping that they will be maybe terminated together if we reach a point where we terminate them. But it's just a hypothesis. I'm not sure yet that this is the case.
I'm not sure if I understood correctly the strategy you're trying to use, but I heard logs and have you tried, I mean, execing into the pod and seeing the repo server pod and trying to run some commands to identify what process is locking is managing this file? Uh, Something around the lines Ryan suggested.
Oh, I understand what you're asking. No, I didn't do that. I did try to exec into the container and to delete the log file, and then basically the problem is resolved.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't do a PS at the like when I
right,
after the problem is already happened. Yeah, it's something
exactly.
that I will do. It's a good idea.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to try to reproduce those errors locally. I would say sometimes even impossible. I would say impossible mission. So having the ability to log into the server that has the problem and inspecting right there is preferable than adding logs, and it would take more time, right?
Yeah, Ryan, I see your yeah. Yeah, it's one direction currently. I wonder whether there are other directions as well.
Yeah, I think that PS will really help if you're able to like get into an affected instance like that. It at least would eliminate the idea that it's some kind of hanging process.
And even if there's no hanging process, sometime when Git fails, it doesn't always clean the log file, and you're stuck with the issue. I know in CI system that was a big problem, and you clean up the log file before builds, but that happens. Like if you're in the middle of a pull and the pull fail, sometime the log file stays locked.
On the
So
others, just want to add one more piece of information. We have several Argo City applications that Intuit, and I don't remember seeing this error in our case. So I don't believe this is a general issue, but something specific to the environment that you're running.
I would imagine, yeah.
I've seen it, but I've only seen it in that case, which I had that PR for. And I'm aware that it's not, it only covers a subset, so it's a hard one to repro for sure.
Have you faced this before, Blake?
Yeah. So in my case, it was when the repo server was trying to pull a really large repo, and then it ohmed, and then the thing is the repo server restarts the container, but then the volume was still present, and then that log file was still present because it crashed midway,
Yeah.
and then basically then I had to restart the pod for that to work. That's
Do
just
you
one.
have do you have mono repos, Reggie, in your?
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
Usual suspect.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering though if it would be a safe approach to delete this log file after the exec operation is finished. Like at the end of this exec operation.
It depends if there's another Git. It depends where the locking mechanism are in the repo server. So if if we have a lock somewhere on the repo and we're sure that there are no other operation on that same repo that can happen in progress, it's fine to delete. Otherwise, we could cause conflict. And I don't think the volume is shared by multiple pods, but if it's the case, then we cannot really know if the other pod is locked.
No, I don't think that a volume should be shared among pods.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't think I ever saw such a case. Okay. Yeah, so as far as I understand, what we're doing at the repo server is that we do have a lock per repository, so that for each repository, only one operation can run for this. So if this is the case, should it be safe, or do we have other potential risks in deleting those files?
Well,
My personal take is always trying to understand the root cause, then fixing, then aiming for quick fixes. So yes, maybe deleting would fix the immediate problem you have, but it may cause others, right? So that's my take.
Yeah, I
Actually,
agree. A kind of last resort from my side after working much on this. But yeah, I generally agree.
I actually mentioned an issue in the description in the chats. I think that's the error message is a little bit relevant, and based on I mean, if you go at the last comments of that issue that I mentioned in the description, you'll find that someone has tried, uh, like someone has written how to fix this issue. Maybe I'm not sure if that's the exact same issue, but I can see the error message is same, so maybe it's related to that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this issue. I have also tried to play with the Argo CD exec timeout and exec final timeout. And actually, in all of my cases, the Git commands finish within the timeout, so they're not long commands. And I could verify this by the logging that is performed in this section of the code.
Have you looked in this section of the code to see what are the logs that are sent, Reggie, and maybe enable debug logs? Maybe to give you a hint to where the source of the problem is? Is there was any?
I did. I also added logging, like I added more logging myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't have enough understanding what causes this.
Okay.
I just was able to determine, like for sure, that we were not hitting the case of timeouts when we're starting to send sig term and sig kill to the process. Because this is what I initially suspected, but it's not our case. The process finishes on time.
If it's a mono repo, do you have multiple apps running on that repo server? Or do you just have one application in the Argo instance you're testing?
No, there are multiple applications with a monorepo, obviously with manifest generate path, but yeah, multiple applications against the same repo, and we're dealing with a case of pretty frequent commits.
So maybe that's an error in the Argo locking in the repo server, and it's a real problem. It's not because there's a failure and the log file is not cleaned up, it's because there's a real Git operation in progress by the repo server acting on another application.
Right, and if that is the case, deleting the lock could cause problems, right?
I mean, parallel limit is to 1, but what I'm suggesting, and maybe it's not actually working, and we have some things running on some two process running on the same repo at the same time.
I think PS would show this, what Regina did.
PS is temporary, so you like
Yeah, she added PS at the time when process exits, so it should catch if something running in parallel.
yeah, it should catch it. I think for sure there's a high percentage of time that it should catch it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, maybe to unblock you if you're blocked, Reggie, maybe you can add a script to delete those files if that makes sense. But not sure about the idea of adding the deletion as part of Argo CD code base, if that's what you were thinking.
Okay, understood. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Reggie. And next one, we have Kanika, quick conversation on odor issues. Are there any odor issues specifically you want to discuss, Kanika?
Yeah, but seeing the time, if somebody else wants to go on the agenda, I can make my question on Slack instead, so if that helps. Or I can go last if there's still time left.
We have 7 minutes left and a few more topics.
Go for it.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Daniel, are you in the call?
Hi. Yeah, I am.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for taking the time. So we're starting to use Argo rollouts in our company, and we found some issues with this PR that was merged. We're running a fork of the Argo rollouts upstream in our internally right now, and specifically the issues are related to final promotion. So you can add this specification and the rollout will progress all the way through till the final step, and then it won't progress anymore because it doesn't honor the replica available replica threshold. So we wanted to upstream these fixes, and I just kind of wanted to like make sure the approach like aligns with you guys before we like create the issues and the PRs and all that sorts of stuff. So I started a thread in Slack if that's a better place to discuss. But just want to get your thoughts on that here.
I would say, so you started a thread, but there's no issue created, right? So no
Not
initial
yet.
issue.
Not
Okay,
yet.
cool. Now I would say describe the best as you can in a GitHub issue,
Mhm.
and then use that as to collect some input from contributors.
Okay.
I think that would be the best approach because in Slack it will be lost in the timeline,
Okay.
right? And yeah, it would be great if you could have that as a GitHub issue. But again, describing it as best as you can is the key to
Okay.
get people attention. Yeah.
That sounds great. Anyone I should like ping on GitHub, or will that just happen automatically?
Well, you can create an issue, describe it, and bring that issue in the Slack.
Okay.
Just provide the link to it there, and then folks can help troubleshooting and providing some hints.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Um, okay, and we have one last one. So John, are you in the call?
I am.
Hello.
Hi.
What's next for GitOps Engine PR tracking cluster? Okay.
Yeah, so there's been I guess a long-standing issue about this, several issues or copies of the same issue about not tracking owner refs for namespaced objects that have cluster scope parents. and I have a PR up to fix it. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. And some of the feedback was that we should turn off, like add a flag to disable it in an emergency. So I added that flag and re-requested review on it last week, but haven't heard anything about it since. I also had another idea for like an alternate implementation. I think that because this only occurs when you have cluster scoped parents, if you defer the processing in iterate hierarchy v2, if you defer the processing of the cluster scoped objects to the end, since they're just treated as another namespace, you could potentially track the references that are missing through all the other namespaces before you get to the cluster scoped ones and then resolve them in the final pass, which is not the way that I've done it. The way that I've done it does work, but it may be potentially more efficient to just mess with the iteration order and hold on to those references until the end.
I like the idea of benchmarking. That sounds like a cool way of doing it, but I'd want a benchmark to demonstrate which way is faster. Also, I really dislike flags before we need the flags. I'd rather just enable it for everybody, see if we run into issues during the RCs, and then introduce a flag if it's absolutely necessary.
Okay. Sure.
And what is iterate hierarchy v2? I'm not familiar with this resource. Is it something native in Kubernetes? Can you maybe
It's a function. It's
Oh, it's a
it's a
function
method in
in GitOps engine.
Mhm.
I see. Okay. Got it. And you're familiar that we're in process of incorporating the library back in the Argo CD repo?
Yeah. So this one got open before
Right.
before that. It's been open for I think 3 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, if we need to defer this until after it gets merged back into Argo CD proper, I'm fine to do that. But if there's a way we can get it in sooner, that'd be great.
Well, yeah. So we'll let you know, whatever happens.
And we have benchmark tests, right, already for that function, that series of functions, because this is sort of the heart of the reconciliation loop, right?
Sorry, what do you mean by benchmark tests? Integrated
Michael was
within our
just
CI?
suggesting that. Yeah, so Michael was just suggesting that he wanted to see benchmarks about how fast this was compared to compared to the old way or compared to the alternative implementation approach. And I think we already have a benchmark test around this function. Is that correct?
Benchmarks exist, but they're just like merged as dead code. We don't have anything that actually runs those and compares them to any known state. It would be nice to have, but like running on different machines is hard to establish what baseline we want to use. But if you could manually run those and confirm that they actually test the cluster scoped parent scenario, then that output just added to the PR would be useful.
Sure. All right, thank you. I'll get that up.
Okay, thank you, John.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, we're on time. Please, Kanika, if you have some issues you want to discuss, feel free to bring that up to the next meeting or, as you said, discuss that in Slack. That makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay, with that, I conclude today's meeting and see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.